So I'm back working on the double journal that was inspired by Gail. And if you didn't see my previous video, I create the cover in the video, and it's a rather large cover, but it folds up so that I will have two signatures in it. And I have gone ahead and it's been sealed with Mod Podge, and I did go ahead and add a pocket here. So I do have another video where I used the scraps that was left over from the cover to make some journaling cards. And so I have taken one of those journaling cards and used it as a pocket inside my cover. And so I've actually added some lace here to it, and it kind of blends in with the whole thing, but I love it. So I love how it's looking. And then Gail also, she put a acetate piece for her pocket in here. So that's what I have done so that I didn't cover up my collage. And this is the first time I think I've actually used a full acetate pocket without adding any paper or anything to it. So it is a little different, but I like it. And so I am kind of loosely following Gail, so I may do some things totally different from her, but I'm loosely following her, so I'm not trying to copy her either. I want to say that I'm not trying to copy her, that I was inspired by hers, and since I was following her tutorial and following her process, I kind of want to do some of the same things. But the kits that I'm using is totally different from hers, so it's going to have totally different pieces and pockets, and I'm pulling pockets from my stash, so it is going to be different too. So either way, you know, there'll be some same and some different. So for my actual signatures, I am using My Porch Prints, and it is Among the Wildflowers. I have a hard time telling you that because there's a song that says You Belong Among the Wildflowers, and it makes me want to hum that. Every time I work with this kit, I'm humming it, and I want to call this one that. So it's called Among the Wildflowers, and it's a beautiful kit. And so I have divided the papers from the kit up between the two signatures. So I didn't print them twice because I didn't want the same pages in both signature. So then I've gone and I've just added some pages that I have. So this is like a marbled paper, and I actually bought this many, many years ago, and I thought it would look pretty in this. And then I've added some book pages from Wildflower Books, Wildflower Field Guides. I've also have another piece of marble paper that this one's more of a tea stain look to it. And then here is from another Wildflower book. And this is from a larger one. And then I have dotted paper there that's been coffee stained, papers from the kit, and then a book page again, a Wildflower book page, and another Wildflower book page. And so you can see with this one, in order to combine two of the pages together, let me take it out and show you. I just took old book pages from another book and made a hinge on the inside and outside so that I could add these two pages to my signature. And let me see if that book's handy so I can kind of give you an idea what I'm talking about. So here is the Wildflower book that I'm talking about. I just found this one recently at my local bookstore, but the way it's put together, I couldn't pull it out with two pages together. So I just added a hinge to the pages, and I've done that to several of the pages in here so that I could put my Wildflower pages. And this is one of those golden field guides of butterflies and moths, and so I did the same thing to it so I could add it to my signature. And then this is something I made with one of Roxy's weekly challenges last year, and so I've added it, and I think the rest are pages from the kit. And so this one is very similar. It just has different, it has pages from the same Wildflower books, but just different different pages in here. And so like when I made Roxy's weekly challenge, you know, they're not going to be exactly alike, so I just added one of those in there, and some coffee stained paper and some marbled paper, and just different bits and pieces are in each one, but they're pretty much similar. So I have that. I need to go ahead and sew in my signature, but I've also set aside, let me show you, I have so much here that I can add to this one. So I went through things I've already made up and pieces from the kit as well, and this kit comes with quite a few things. So the kit, I went ahead and made up all the little envelopes and pockets from it, and then I've pulled out things from Roxy's weekly challenge from last year, pockets, different little things that we made that I thought would go with this kit. I have journaling cards that I've made up last year that I thought would go with this. Then the journaling cards that I have a video of the other day. And then I did take one of the Wildflower pages and I have Mod Podged it to a paper bag, a little sack, and so I think I'm going to use that in there. I've set aside these to use for something else, but in the book, but I'll show you in a few minutes what I'm going to do with those. These are just extras. There's another pocket that I made up, pulled out of my stash. So there's so many different things, and all this is from the kit. All these pockets are from the kit. I went ahead and added some lace to my pockets, and so there's so much in here. I know that you probably don't want to see. We'll see that all when we get to putting it together. So I just want to show you I have a lot to add to it already, and then I will see what I need to make once I get it, you know, all that added. Then I'll go and see, okay, what do I need to add now or to make now? And I may can look in my stash and have some. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to line up these. I think I have them mostly lined up, and we'll just go ahead and sew these signatures in. So let me just want to go through here and see. So what I'm doing is I'm going to line my pages up. Some of them I'm going to center like this, but others, like those smaller pages, I am going to either put at the top or bottom. Just, I'm going to do things different in it. I want them to be at different places in it. Okay, so I have my first signature, which is, this signature is actually the second one. It's going on the inside here. I have it ready to go, but maybe Gail added this one first. Maybe there's a reason. So let's go ahead and add this one first. I didn't think about that. So let me get this one. I'm just arranging them off camera some because I know that it would be quite boring for you to watch me arrange each page. I do want to say though that my pages are all different sizes, and I'm okay with that because I like that. I want them to be, you know, up and down wise, they're shorter, but then some stick out further than others, and I did trim them down to be, I don't want them to stick outside the book, but I don't mind them sticking, you know, some sticking out further than others inside the cover. So I'm okay with that. So I have, it's kind of intentional that some of them are like that, and I like that look. Just kind of want to add some interest to this one. So this is the first signature. So I'm getting my clips together, and I'm going to clip it in. I just want to make sure I've got it up and down. I don't want to get my head in the way. So I have my camera in a new spot. So it's over my shoulder now, and I'm having issues not putting my head in the camera. I have to learn where it's at so I don't just stick my head in the camera every time. So I hope that I don't have it in the camera too much and drive you crazy with that. I'm trying. But I wanted to put my camera in a different spot and try a different angle. See how that looks, you know, see how the angle of the camera being a different spot is. So let me see here. So I'm just going to add that there, and then I think I'll flip this side in. I think that'll be enough clipping. Now, my pages, since I have, oops, that one's not clipped good. Since my pages are all different lengths, up and down, the actual height of it, I'm thinking if I do a 3-hole punch, or let me say that differently, if I do a 3-hole sewing the signature in like I typically do with most of my journals, if I do that, I feel like I'm going to miss some of the pages. So I know I've done this before in other videos, but I know that you may not have saw those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the 5 holes, and I'm not sure I'm even saying this right. It's not punch, so it's because we're punching the holes with our awl. So it's just a 5-hole book binding, I guess is what you would call it. Let me get my needle and thread, and then I'll explain it. So I'm going to use this cotton thread, and I am going to make sure my needle's in here. My craft room I've been reorganizing, but while I'm reorganizing, it has been a big mess in here. So I'm having a hard time finding everything. Let's see, I don't want to use that one. I want to use this one, and I'm just going to run it through some beeswax. So I'm just going to count off 1, 2, and 3. I think I'll do 4. Because I do, with the 5, I'm not sure how much I'll need, but I'm going to do 4 because I might want to dangle some charms on the end. I got to look and see what charms I have and see if I have some that matches this wildflower theme. So I keep messing with my splint because when it slides a little bit, it makes my finger ache. So I keep pushing on it, but it slides around. Let me see here. I'm going to try to run this through here with my finger like this. It kind of hinders me, but I'm going to run it through a few times, and then I think that'll be enough. I like to wax my thread. I think it makes it easier for me to thread my needle, but I like the wax thread also to sew up the binding on these journals. All right, so let's punch our holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out of the way. So it is kind of bulky like this, but I'm going to pull it out of the way because I don't want to punch a hole in the wrong places. So with when you punch 5 holes, it's still the same as the 3 you start in the center. So I just eyeball my center here, and then I'm just going to push down. I do have that pocket there. I don't think it should be a problem. So I'm going to just push down towards the spine. There we go. And I'm thinking now maybe I should have added some lace before I added the pocket. So the lace may cover the pocket just a little. So then what I do when I'm doing the 5 is then I go down to the bottom like I would if I was doing the 3. And I just punch my hole like normal, going down towards the spine again. And then I do the same thing at the top. I just, it's about 1 inch down is where I come down from mine. And I just go towards the spine. And then for the 5, I just put 1 hole. So you have a center hole and an end hole. So I just go right in between those 2, the center one and the bottom one, and I put another hole. And I just eyeball it. It may be not exact center, but it's close enough. And then I do the same thing from the top hole to the center hole. I eyeball the center and I put another hole. Okay, so there we go. So we have that. Okay, so now we have our 5 holes punched. We want to take our thread, and I'm sorry that this video doesn't flow like it should. I had to pause the video and start back because my dogs were outside playing, and when my son brought them in, they're so noisy, so I was giving them time to quieten down. You may still hear them in the background. They're a little excited. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, for the 5 hole punch, excuse me, I keep saying 5 hole punch. I have no idea why. For the 5 hole signature binding, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to start in the center. So you're just going through the center hole. And so we're going to have this little extra tail here. I'm going to just bring it down here and clip it inside of my clips so I don't pull it all the way through because there's a lot to hold on to here. So then I'm just going to go through the second hole. It was the one that we put in the center of the 1 and 3 holes. So here we go. So I'm just going to go through it. And then you just come all the way through, and then you just, oops, I did not mean to hit the camera. I am so sorry. I am sorry that's shaking. So I came through the second one, so now I'm just going through the top hole. I'm going out from the inside of the book to the top hole. And just push that through. Okay. This is a hard one to teach this too since it's got so many pieces to the double fold. But I really felt where I had the smaller pages I needed to do this. So now I'm just going to go back through the second hole down. So I'm just going back through there, the second hole, and let me see if I can get this out of the way here so I can do it. Okay, so I've gone back through the second hole here. You don't want to split your threads, so don't go through your threads. Okay. Then I am going to go through my, let's see. Okay, so then I'm going to go back down through, and we're going through the second to last hole again. So that would be hole number 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4th hole. Thread here. So go through hole number 4. Then we're going to come back in the last hole at the bottom. And so then we're going to come back up here and we're going to go out the 4th hole, and then we're going to come right back in the center. So we're going to finish up at the center hole. So just do like that, and then we'll come back to the center. And you want to come through on the opposite side of your little thread here. And then we're just going to tie it. Okay. But I do want to tighten it first. But don't tighten so much you rip your pages, but you do want to tighten all your strings. Okay. So now we have it good and tight. We're just going to tie some knots in it. I like to tie about 3 knots in it. And then we'll just trim our threads. And there we have our signature sewn in. So that is signature number 1. And now I have to figure out, I can't remember, I think maybe Gail must have put her lace on before the pocket. I can't remember now. I probably should have went back and watched. It's been a few days since I saw hers. I want to see if my pages are all in now. Let's just take a look. Some of these shorter pages. So see, that way they are actually, this one's actually in with 4 stitches where it would have only been 2 had I used the 3 stitch. So I like that. I like this like that. Okay, so that's already chunky. I may have added too many pages already, but I guess you can't get it too chunky, can you? I love a chunky journal. So now it's time to put the other signature in, and then we'll come back and figure out the lace here. I guess, let's see, yes, we do need to add this one now. Okay, so let me get this one lined up in here. So for this one, I'll go ahead and, so for this one, I'm going to go ahead and measure out the thread. So that's 1, 2, and I'm going to do 4 again because I think that leaves me enough, especially with this 5-hole punch, it leaves me enough to have string hanging down. And then I'm just going to run it through the beeswax. Okay, so I have my string or my thread ran through the beeswax. I think my book is ready to be sewn together. I did not check it. Let me make sure that all my pages are lined up where I want them. Okay, so I've run my thread through the beeswax. I have my needle threaded and I have my pages lined up. So now we're ready to sew it in. So let's see here. Just gotta clip it on here. So now this is what's going to be a little cumbersome because, of course, we have that double signature. And I've never done one like this before, so I may struggle for just a minute. Hopefully it's just a minute and not much longer than that, that I struggle with it. But hopefully it's not that bad. Surely I can do this. I love challenges though. I love to try something different. So I think this flap's just going to be hanging down in the way, so I do apologize that you're not going to be able to see that as well. So once again, I'm going to punch 5 holes with my awl, and then I will do the 5-hole binding. So let me see if I can get this out of the way so I can see enough myself to do this. This is when my head may wind up in the camera because I'm trying to see it all at one time. I don't want to catch the other journal that's back in there. I'm trying to avoid it as well. So I need to kind of flop it out of the way. Okay, so now I'm going to start. Just going to eyeball the center again. And then I'm going to punch through. Okay. Then I'm just going to go about 1 inch from the bottom, or on the inside, not of the cover, but actually the pages inside. And 1 inch from the top pages. Okay. Just push towards the spine. Okay, and then once again, I'm going to go and make a hole in between the center hole and the bottom hole. And then I'll make a hole between the center hole and the top hole. And that's just how it makes it easier for me to do the 5 holes when I put these together like this. So, and I can't remember which journals on my channel are the 5-hole journals, but I do have 2 or 3 on my channel that's like that. So I'm going to start in the center again. And the dogs seem to be quiet right now, so this might actually be a good time to sew it so that you can actually hear me. I don't know how much you heard me before. We'll see when I go back to watch the video and edit it how much noise they were making. So we're going to start in the center. Once again, I'm just going to get that, pull it all the way through, and then I'm going to clip the little tail here inside my clip. Make sure my clips didn't move. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to go through the second hole from the back side. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that hole did not seem to be big enough, so I'm going to just go back through and I'm just going to push my awl a little further in. Maybe I did not make the hole big enough. Okay, so then we'll go through the second hole. And then we'll bring it up and we'll go through the top hole. Got to get this untangled here. It's getting wrapped around. I think my string's a little too long. It's getting wrapped around everything. So I'm going to go through the top hole. Okay. I've got to get a better grip on it. Okay, so we're going through the top hole. Then we're going to come right back down and go through the second hole. Make sure that's in there right. Okay, so now we just go back through the second one. This one is a little cumbersome because of all the cover. So once we go through the second, we're going to go down to the fourth hole. So we're just going to count 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and you're going to come back out the fourth hole. And then we're going to go back in the fifth hole. And then back out the fourth hole. You're going to go back to it. And then you're going to go through the center hole again. And I'm sorry about that, my hand right in front of the camera. So we're going to go back through the center hole. And I'm just trying to look. I like to go through on the opposite side. Just going to put my needle through there and make sure I can find that hole. I think it's just so, there we go. So I didn't come through on the opposite side, so I'm just going to pull my needle back down and come through on the opposite side of the thread so I can tie a knot in it. And there we have it. That was a little tougher than some with this journal here, but we've got it. And to make sure, get this clip off out of the way, and then we just need to tighten it. So if I can get this string, hold of it. So what I want to do is just check the back, see how loose they feel. And just, I like to pull on them individually like this until I get them tightened. Because I don't want to tear my paper trying to tighten them. There we go. So I think everything's feeling good and tight. Yes. So now I'm just going to tie, once again, I like to tie 3 knots. There we have 3 knots in it, and I'm just going to trim these ends. And that looks good. So we have our double journal. So now we're going to add the lace. So let me see how this is supposed to go together. Oh my goodness, I about got confused. Okay, it goes like this, and then like this, and then like that. Wow, I love the chunkiness already. So now I want to cover my spines with the lace. So let's see here. Let's see what we got going on here. This is quite a bit to deal with here. Okay, so this is the first one I need to cover with lace. Okay, so I do want lace on the spines, but I want crochet lace, I think. So I'm going to go through, I pulled out a bag of lace here that I have. I don't want it that wide. Just trying to decide which width I want. And this, all of this came from DC Scrapping Rooster. And I will link to her Etsy shop. It's her YouTube is called DC Scrapping Rooster. And then her Etsy shop, I can't remember because she has a new Etsy shop. So I used to shop with her when she was on Zibbit, but she's now on Etsy. And she also sells on her YouTube channel sometimes. So that's one width. Or we have this one. This one's a little wider. I don't know which one I would want. So this one, kind of like the more narrow one, but I do want to see something here. Right in here, I'm afraid I'm going to have an issue because I already put the pocket on. So the narrow would be better, wouldn't it? So that it didn't cover too much of the pocket. I think it's going to be beautiful. So let's see, how can we do this? Let's take and open this up in the center. Where's the center? Okay, and we're just going to open it in the center, and we're going to move this one out of the way, and we're going to flop that one out of the way, and then we're just going to put the lace right down through there. So I'm just going to start out by just adding a little Fabri-Tac down the center. I like to start with the Fabri-Tac down the center, and then what I do is I'll add Fabri-Tac on each side once I get the lace on. So let's figure out which is which side. Okay. And I'm just going to center it up on there the best I can. I'm just eyeballing the center. Well, eyeballing where the center of this piece of lace is. We know where the center of the spine is. Okay, I like that. Okay. So now I'm just going to go in on the edges here and add more glue. And it's not going to take away much from the pocket as far as what you can stuff in it, so it's not going to hurt anything. I think it's going to look good with that, the crochet lace. We have just put too much down there. Wipe some of that off. It's too far over. Okay. rubbing some of that extra glue I got up there. Got too far over. So then I got to just add a little bit right here. And I apologize. In the background, you might can hear some sniffling. My son just came from outdoors, and apparently his allergies are messed up where he's been outside. I think the pollen here is getting higher. They said the allergens was in the air, and he's sniffling away. I can hear him in his room. I don't know if you can hear it. It sounds really loud to me, so I'm thinking you probably can hear it too. I don't think he even realizes. He probably got headphones on. Okay, so now I'm just going to open it up this way and flop this journal out of the way. It's so many different journals here. Okay, and so then I'm just going to once again put the glue down the center, and then lay my lace down on there. Got to figure out some of these. I'm not sure there is a front and a back. It's so hard to tell. Trim this off just a little. Okay, let's just straighten it up a little bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna eyeball the center of this ribbon, this lace. I don't know why I wanted to call it a ribbon. It is lace, I guess. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go in the edge here, pull it back, and go along there. Try not to get too much over. Okay, then we'll do the same on this side. Okay. There we go, and then I'm just going to go across the bottom here. I don't think I got enough across there. All right, I like that. I'm loving how this journal is turning out. I'm having so much fun playing with it. Okay, so put all that together. Oops, let's just see here if that's straight. I'd like to fold it and make sure I got it straight, or that it looks partial straight anyways. It is handmade, right? So it doesn't have to be perfect. That looks good though. And that is looking good too. I put less on this side than I did this side, but that's okay because that way it doesn't take too much away from the pocket. But I do love that. That looks really good. So we have now got our journal together, and it does feel chunky, but I like how it feels. So the next thing is I wanted to start adding pockets and things to it, to the actual journal. So I think I will save that for tomorrow. It's time to feed the dogs and the animals, all the animals, and then it's time to actually fix supper and feed the family as well. So I'll stop here, and then I'll be back. I don't know, I'll work on it tomorrow, but I don't know which day the video will come up, but we'll keep working on this till we get it done. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you are enjoying this series as much as I am. And if you are creating one, I would love to hear how yours is coming along. And let me know if you have an Instagram or somewhere I can see yours where you add pictures. I know a lot of people share pictures of their projects on Instagram or Facebook, and I'd love to see how yours is coming along or hear about yours. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye.